나무묘호랭개교 나무묘호랭개교 나무묘호랭개교. Buongiorno, ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning to everyone. And I'd like to reflect upon what it is to be a Buddhist. So we're all practicing Buddhism. We study Buddhism. And maybe one point that sometimes we need to return to is to think about, why am I practicing? Why am I a Buddhist? What is a Buddhist? Okay. And of course, a Buddhist is someone who, just by the words alone, is a person who follows the Buddha and his teachings. So one of his teachings and one of the great hallmarks of Buddhism is that it is marked with compassion. So it is a philosophy based on compassion. And also we've talked a lot about the spirit of a Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva always has compassion, just like the Buddha. And you might think, well, am I just a normal member, or I'm just learning about the Buddhism, I'm just an average person, maybe I'm not the level of a Bodhisattva. Well, according to the Buddhist teachings, if you are chanting the Lotus Sutra and reciting the old Daimoku, you indeed are a Bodhisattva. Okay? Maybe you are not a great Bodhisattva like Avalokiteshvara or many other famous Bodhisattvas, but you still are a Bodhisattva. There are many stages of development. Okay? Just like in all things in life, no one is born an expert in anything. No one is born a great master of anything. We begin, we make mistakes, we learn, we have ups and downs, and slowly but surely we learn the way. And then afterwards, maybe someday we can be called a master of a certain subject or field. Okay, through all of this effort, constant devotion and devoted effort, put it this way, devoted effort. So that is the road we have before us as a Bodhisattva. When we look at the statue of a Buddha, maybe we see hair that is short and curly, while statues of Buddha have long hair. You may also notice that other statues of Bodhisattvas are finely clothed. They have jewelry and sometimes elaborate crowns, hats, or headdressings, demonstrating that they are not exactly monks who have renounced their ways to the worldly ways. They are instead common everyday people. In other words, Bodhisattvas are everyday people, just like ourselves. Okay? As you are all aware of, the Lotus Sutra not only reveals the enlightenment of the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, but also explains the great desire and compassion of the Buddha to embrace all living beings, so that they too may attain enlightenment and as a result be freed from suffering and achieve happiness. This is the all-embracing compassion of the Buddha and is the fundamental basis of all the Buddhist teachings. So no matter what school you partake in, whether it be Theravada or maybe some school of Mahayana or Vajrayana, Tibetan Buddhism, it doesn't matter. This is the underlying spirit or the heart of all Buddhist teachings and all Buddhist schools. The concept of Bodhisattva, however, might differ according to the school or tradition. In Theravada Buddhism, for example, a Bodhisattva is truly only Shakyamuni Buddha in one of his previous existences, as he strove to attain the path towards enlightenment. However, Mahayana Buddhism teaches and emphasizes that a Bodhisattva is anyone who aspires for enlightenment. So repeat, if you are chanting the Lotus Sutra, you are reciting Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, and you're studying and trying to practice the best you can, you are already a bodhisattva. You're on the road. You're walking along the road, taking a journey as a bodhisattva to develop, finally, and evolve into a Buddha. Along the way, for this evolution anyway, a bodhisattva must carry out many different practices. For example, we call these the 6 paramitas or 6 perfections. And this means that they strive to become master of the following areas. 1 is generosity, the giving of yourself, an unselfish participation of your giving, and also of participation and contribution in any form that is necessary. Of course, it doesn't mean just contribution of money, but also your time and effort and your heart. Number 2 is to live a healthy life based on the values of the Buddhist precepts. So we try to follow the Buddhist precepts in order to have a healthy and more sane life, and one is much more in tune with the Dharma itself. Number 3, be serene, patient, tolerant, understanding and supportive without anger, nervousness or anxiety. Number 4, make steady and consistent progress in Buddhist practice, striving always to become closer in developing the same compassionate heart of the Buddha, as we ourselves set our sights on attaining Buddhahood for ourselves and for all those around us. Number 5 is perfecting meditation, concentration, and focus. So it is not only silent meditation, but also it is verbal or active meditation, which is the chanting of Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. So we concentrate on these practices, okay, and have an overall focus also of what we're doing. So wisdom, number 6 is wisdom, insight, and a deep and overall good comprehension, not only for all the Buddhist teachings, but for life itself. So all of these things, if we are able to master all of these things, then we'll have all the different qualities we need to be a great bodhisattva and also welcome in enlightenment into our life. Okay? And upon completion of this practice, as a result, each bodhisattva will become a Buddha. However, upon embarking on his or her path towards enlightenment, all bodhisattvas also make 4 universal vows, which we read today at the end of our Buddhist practice. We pledge to save innumerable beings from suffering, any form of suffering. We pledge to eradicate earthly or common and selfish desires. We pledge to master the immeasurable amount of Buddhist teachings and doctrines, to learn them and understand them, become masters of the Buddhist teachings. And 4th is that we pray to attain supreme enlightenment. So these are really the spirit of a Buddhist practitioner, and also at the same time the goals, the final objectives of a true or a genuine Buddhist practitioner. So of course these vows sound similar to us. We just, like I said, we just read them today in our liturgy book when we read, for example, Shijo Muhen Seigando. I pray for all living beings throughout the universe and vow to lead them on towards enlightenment. Bon Nomushu Seigandan. I pray for and vow to achieve the freedom from innumerable selfish and mortal desires. Homo Mujin Seiganchi. I pray and vow I was to strive to gain knowledge of all the vast Buddhist doctrines. Butsudo Mujo Seiganjo. I pray and vow to complete the journey on the road towards Buddhahood and ultimately attain enlightenment. So Bodhisattva in Mahayana Buddhism is therefore characterized by this great compassion. Now, what exactly does compassion mean in Buddhism? Okay, does it mean just to feel sorry for someone, or does it mean the desire to help someone? Well, these are both actually the underlying fundamental spirits of Buddhist compassion. The word compassion in the Buddhist sense is derived from the Japanese term Jihi. The Ji of Jihi means giving pleasure and happiness, while Hi is meant to signify removing pain and suffering. Okay? It is through this spirit that we see how the Buddha and the Bodhisattva's compassion saves all suffering people from the agony and pain they have to endure life after life, and to lead each and every one of them away from this pain and suffering towards instead an indestructible condition of happiness. Of course, also too, one other element which is part of the Ji, or in the Jihi, is empathy. So we begin by listening to the people around us, trying to understand their suffering, and then gently helping them to lead them away from that suffering, maybe to learn something, but most of all, to free them from pain and suffering and help them, escort them towards a more enlightened life. So there are many religions throughout the world. Some of them are concerned only about helping other people, while others are more concerned on one's own personal salvation. And so there's also the opposite. Some people primarily in the world worry more about themselves and do not concern themselves for others. But as you see in Buddhism, especially as seen as the heart of the Lotus Sutra and its practice, it's about balance. It is not sufficient to practice merely for oneself, but it is satisfactory, much better to practice one's faith. Nor is it satisfactory to practice one's faith only for others and then forget about oneself. So we need to think about ourselves and all those around us, so that all of us can be freed from suffering and all of us can lead a more enlightened life. Nichiren Daishonin taught us that we must keep a balance by practicing our faith for both ourselves and for others. We must try our best to learn and study the teachings of the Lotus Sutra and all Buddhism together with Nichiren Daishonin's Gosho, while chanting the Odaimoku of Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. In this way, we can better understand and deepen our faith and attain enlightenment, while at the same time lead our family, friends, and others to the ultimate happiness of Buddhahood by teaching them too the benefits of chanting the Odaimoku. There is a passage from Nichiren Daishonin's Gosho called the Hokkei Shoshin Jobutsu Sho, or Appearance of the Buddha Nature, which states, a singing bird in a cage attracts uncaged birds, and the sight of uncaged birds will make the caged bird want to be free. Likewise, the chanting of the Odaimoku will bring out the Buddha nature within ourselves. The singing bird is the analogy of ourselves. As we chant the Odaimoku to the Gohonzon, we attract the Buddha's power, compassion, and merit. At the same time, when we see the Buddha, our desire to attain enlightenment is wakened deep within ourselves. In a similar vein, we then also are like that beautiful bird, bringing a feeling of joy and inspiration to all those around us. Spread your wings, and through your own sincere chanting of the Odaimoku, we too will become shining examples of faith of the Lotus Sutra, and undoubtedly encourage all those around us. Every time we sit in front of the Mandala Gohonzon, at a temple or even at home and chant Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, the spirit of the Buddha grows within us, and the Buddha's enlightenment becomes manifested more and more each day within our lives. Nichiren Daishonin further stated in the Myoichama Gozen Gohenji, or reply to the nun of Ran Myoichi. This is the passage we read today. Those who believe in the Lotus Sutra are like winter, winter which never fails to turn into spring. I have never heard of winter turning into fall, nor have I ever heard of believers in the Lotus Sutra remaining as mere common mortals. The Lotus Sutra states, there is not a single person who hears this sutra who will not attain Buddhahood. So, isn't it marvelous that we have had such great fortune in this lifetime to encounter the Lotus Sutra and to chant the Odaimoku? As I mentioned earlier at the beginning, we are all Bodhisattvas. So with this determination, with this insight, let's really concentrate on realizing that each and every one of us is a disciple of the Buddha and of Nichiren Daishonin. And recall every day the spirit of the four great vows of the Bodhisattva, which we just read. They strive each day to recite the sutra, chant the Odaimoku, study the Lotus Sutra and Nichiren Daishonin's teachings, little by little, every day. Okay? All you need is 5 minutes concentrated study every day. Look at one area, try to read it, understand it, and digest it inside you. Okay? Little by little. So at the same time, let's also be like that bird that we talked about who was in the cage, who as he chants, or as he just sings in this case, as he sings, he inspires joy and hope in the hearts of others. Let us share also all the great fortune and happiness we have been blessed with all the people around us. In that way, in a natural way, people will start to feel the power of Buddhism, even without uttering a single word about Buddhist doctrine. They will see it shining from our own lives. So with that, I'd like to conclude my talk for today. Thank you very much for your patience, for listening, and very happy to be able to share a little bit about Buddhism together with you, the things that have been taught to me in English. All right. Wish you all a very wonderful Friday. The weekend is coming up. Our next appointment will be on Sunday morning for our weekly Sunday service, which will be in Italian this time. Okay. So with that, I wish you a very wonderful day. Keep warm and see you on Sunday. Thank you. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you. Thank you again. Have a very wonderful day. Bye-bye. Blah.